The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onoge, has warned legal practitioners who forge judgments to desist from such acts. The Chief Justice was speaking at the opening of the 2018-2019 legal year and swearing in of the new senior advocates of Nigeria.
In the just concluded exercise, some applicants were found to have engaged in dishonorable conduct, such as forgery of judgments, resulting in their being reported to the police for investigation and possible prosecution. We have to know that if one is not for any reason qualified to wear silk as a judicial officer, he cannot wear it as a senior advocate of Nigeria.
The bar, and indeed the Nigerian nation, expects your lordships to maintain in the coming national election season the standards of decorum, professionalism, discipline, and integrity. Any judicial officer that is found wanting in that regard, we respectfully posit, must be swiftly and decisively punished and routed out from the pack of judicial officers.
The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria has left the monetary policy rate unchanged at 14%. The Central Bank Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, was speaking at the end of a two-day meeting of the committee.
The MPC decided by a vote of 7 members to retain the MPR at 14%. However, 3 out of these 7 members voted to raise cash reserve requirement by 150 basis points, and an indication that left to them they would indeed tighten. The other 3 members voted to tighten by raising the MPR by 25 basis points.
Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo says Nigeria's history will not determine the future of the country. He was speaking when he opened a photo exhibition to mark the beginning of activities of the nation's 58th Independence Day celebration.
We are reminded of the twists and turns of our history. The colonial phase, independence, the First Republic, the political crisis, the coups and counter-coups, the Civil War, the short restoration of civil rule and another military incursion, and then civil rule since 1999. Each phase has tested our resolve to remain united, to maintain the integrity of the country. I'm pleased to say on behalf of the Nigerian government and the Nigerian people that we have chosen to say that our history will not determine our future. Our history is the least that we can ever be. Our future is much greater. Our history is only the precursor to a greater Nigeria, to a Nigeria that's prosperous, united, and where all of us are treated fairly and justly.
A meeting between the federal government and the labor unions ended in a deadlock, with the unions insisting on its planned industrial action. The meeting had in attendance the Minister of Labour and Productivity, Dr. Chris Ngigi, the President of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Comrade Ayuba Waba, and members of the Tripartite Committee, and would reconvene on the 4th of October 2018.
We normally use 2 days for the meeting, so we are reconvening the meeting on the 4th.
Sir.
And all the processes have been put in place. The labor leaders know, and they are now expected to communicate them to their organs.
This is the first meeting we are having any information about what we have demanded for. Also updating us on what they have been doing behind the scene. And from that discussion, clearly, because you are aware we are here in a representative capacity because the meeting also had to come up in an emergency situation. We are taking back this information to brief our rank and file about what the issues are. But our minimum demand is that the meeting of the Tripartite Committee should be reconvened without any delay to complete its assignment. And until that is met, the position we have taken remains same.
Relief may have come the way of Nigerians living in flood-prone areas across the country, as the federal government has declared that decreasing water levels means the worst is over. The Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Stalemate, briefed the Federal Executive Council on the development at this week's meeting.
The water level in Lokoja had dropped by 6 centimeters and it's still going down. The water level in Lagdo in Cameroon is also going down. So hopefully the worst is over, except if there is some unforeseen and unprecedented amount of rainfall, which is very unlikely, but not also unlikely to happen. But we don't hope it will. We think that the worst is over and we should be able to see most of the floodwaters receding.
The Federal Executive Council has approved a sum of $64.2 million for power supply projects to Escravos communities in Delta State. While speaking with journalists on some of the outcomes of the meeting, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Dr. Ibe Kachuku, said if executed, the Escravos power project would put an end to the 18 million naira being spent monthly by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation to provide power to the area.
We believe that with this, power will be provided to the immediate community, run for a period of 4 or 5 years, and become a permanent structure, because in the absence of that, the only way we've maintained peace has been to use generators, which were costing NPC over 80 million naira every month to manage, just to provide light in those areas so that they will enable the more important contract of the ELPS to take place. So today, Council approved approximately $64 million.
Civil servants in Nigeria's federal capital complied fully with the directive of the organized labor to embark on a warning strike action pending when the federal government will reconvene the Minimum Wage Review Committee. Unionists move around the federal secretariat to ensure that no one is working. The United States Institute for Peace believes education violence in Nigeria does not occur in a vacuum, and focus should be on local and state level elections, as these are the ones which record the highest level of election violence in Nigeria. The Institute made this submission at the quarterly confab series of the Peace and Security Network.
Restricted ourselves to 8 states: Adamawa, Ekiti, Plateau, Kaduna, Kano, Rivers, Lagos, and Abuja, the FCT. Now, between 2015 and now, the key question we asked was, what has changed? Are there shifts? What are those shifts? And can these shifts help us understand the dynamics of our elections in terms of the relationship between violence and elections in Nigeria?
The Nigerian Air Force has launched a probe into the cause of the crash involving 2 of its fighter jets on rehearsal for air display during the Independence anniversary on October 1st. The pilot of the plane died after the plane crashed in the Katampe area of Abuja. The Chief of Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, announced the probe when he visited the survivors at the Defense Intelligence Agency clinic.
We have set up a board of inquiry to clearly understand what really happened. This was supposed to be the last rehearsal before the actual flying on the 1st of October. It's very unfortunate that we lost one of them, but we are also consoled by the fact that we have 2 of the pilots here who are in a very stable condition.
The Nigerian International Observation Mission and the International Republican Institute has released its first assessment pre-election report as the 2019 elections build up. The report, which commends Nigeria for some improvements in its election process, is however concerned about the delays in finalizing the legal framework for 2019 and the delay in the release of funds for the 2019 elections.
Despite the above improvements in the administrative and procedural aspects of the voting process, deficits in the political process could undermine or compromise the democratic character of the 2019 elections. Numerous interlocutors with whom the delegation met commented on the lack of equitable competition within political parties regarding candidate selection, and relatedly, a penchant among parties to induce voter support through means that run contrary to the spirit of democratic franchise. For many Nigerians, the pervasive role of money in the campaign process lies at the heart of these concerns.